girls.
Hi everyone, it's Sonia here. So it looks like Australia is actually being used as the most extreme testing ground for what may lie ahead for all of humanity if certain people have their way. Australia has openly announced the New World Order. Yes, the Chief Health Officer of New South Wales, Australia, announced that
we will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order, in the New World Order, in the New World Order.
Funny she would use that phrase. You'd think she would know that it would maybe set some people off. Every day, another shocking headline makes you wonder what tomorrow will bring. That's why those who know what's coming are using today to prepare. I'm talking about getting your family some high-quality emergency food from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the nation's leading preparedness company. They've been in business going on 14 years now, and they've served millions of American families. Now they want to help you by giving you $50 off their popular 4-week emergency food kit. You get 4 weeks of food per person with meals designed to give you more than 2,000 calories a day. By the way, this food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. Other food goes bad fast. So don't wait. Go to preparewithtruththegirls.com and claim your 4-week emergency food kit. You'll save $50 per kit if you act now. That's preparewithtruththegirls.com. Don't wait. Do it today. So let's look at what's going on in Australia. Why was Dr. Chant talking about New World Order?
Will exposure sites be put back in place, especially with reopening and people going back to pubs and stuff? Because our exposure sites still, will they be put back in place to be listed once we are reopening? Because they're not at the moment.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. And yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other things if we have a positive case there. Our response may be different if we know that people are fully vaccinated. So we're working through a number of those issues.
What's the point of isolating those vaccinated people? They're already vaccinated. Maybe you don't have to bother doing contact tracing. I'm not sure if that's what she meant, but that's what it sounded like to me. And this wasn't the first time that they used the phrase New World Order. When they put Australians on lockdown, they also said this.
Today is the first full day of the New World Order. Outdoor gatherings are limited to 2 people. Exercise is allowed, but no further than a 10-kilometre radius from your home. Browsing in shops is not permitted. Only 1 person per household may leave to do essential shopping. And from tomorrow, funerals are limited to 10 people.
And the length of this lockdown is up to each and every one of us.
This is a world pandemic. It's a 1 in 100-year event. So you can expect that we will have transmission from time to time, and that's just the way it is. We've got to accept that this is the New World Order. We've got to accept that this is the New World Order.
Australia has been giving us a lot of information about what this New World Order may look like.
From a situation where, to protect the health system, we've got everybody locked down, we're going to move to a situation where, to protect the health system, we're going to lock out people who are not vaccinated and can be. If you're making the choice not to get vaccinated, then you're making the wrong choice. You're making the wrong choice. And for safety's sake, and back to that point about how much work our nurses have to do, as this becomes absolutely a pandemic of the unvaccinated and we open everything up, it's not going to be safe for people who are not vaccinated to be roaming around the place spreading the virus.
The way he says it is for people who are unvaccinated to be roaming around the place spreading the virus as if they were some kind of zombies. Like they're all infected. Obviously they're not vaccinated. They're roaming around spreading the virus. It gets worse though.
That's what they'll be doing. So there's every reason to get vaccinated. But yes, there's going to be a vaccinated economy. And you get to participate in that if you are vaccinated.
Oh, it's a vaccinated economy and you get to participate in that if you're vaccinated. You get the privilege of being allowed to participate in the economy. So what they've done is they've turned your right to have a job or to shop or to basically to buy or sell into a privilege which will only be given back to you if you take this injection. That's how it's going to work in the New World Order. So what does that mean? What's participating in the economy? It's not only spending, it's also earning. It's also pretty much doing everything. That's a privilege now. You only get to have that privilege if you're vaccinated. The world has changed. This is how things are now. They actually have released a roadmap to freedom for the fully vaccinated, in case you want to know the details. So it actually doesn't mean that the fully vaccinated will be completely free either, though. There's all kinds of limitations on them, such as gatherings in the home and public spaces. Up to 5 visitors will be allowed in a home where all adults are vaccinated. I wonder how they would enforce that. Most things would be opening up, but with limited capacity. Unvaccinated people will continue to only be able to access critical retail. So those who are not vaccinated would only be allowed to access things that were left open during lockdown, which is really not very much. I guess if you end up needing clothes, you'll have to find them at the pharmacy, or, I don't know, buy them online while you're still allowed to do that and you still have access to your bank account. So what if you just don't get vaccinated for now and you decide to wait it out? It looks like that's not going to work out either.
We're now watching countries like Israel see their cases surge despite high vaccination rates. How important are boosters to maintaining this no lockdown plan, and how soon we need to get them so that we can maintain these freedoms we're being promised?
We need to get used to being vaccinated with COVID vaccines for the future. I can't see that COVID is not going to be with us forever. Maybe in the future we can have even better vaccines and coverage across the world to achieve that. I mean, as a public health doctor, we always want to have diseases get totally eliminated, but that's not on the horizon in the near future. So booster doses, repeat doses will be part of it. You know, there'll be different advice about different schedules, which doses you get. But at the moment, our priority has to be getting first and second doses into people, and there will be recommendations about booster doses in the future.
A regular cycle for the future. Basically, they're telling you, you cannot just wait this out. It's not going to go away. So there will be regular schedules with booster doses, which you will have to take. Otherwise, you will not be able to participate in the economy. So if you think that this is going to go away, she's telling you you're mistaken. I want to make sure that you do understand it's not just a question of you can't go into certain stores or you can't drink in the pub. Yeah, this is the new catchphrase, no jab, no job. Make sure that you remember it and repeat it so that people get used to the idea. This was in Tasmania also, and also in New South Wales. There's also something else going on in Australia, which is strange and disturbing. They're building a lot of quarantine facilities. At first they were using quarantine hotels, but that actually didn't work out so well. They were associated with outbreaks, after all, because the people who were working in the hotels, they would catch it and they would spread it. So they've moved to this other strategy, which is to build these kind of facilities. Some of these facilities were mining camps, which have been now repurposed. And they're actually quite large. COVID quarantine villages. Look at this. Could house returning Australians from overseas hotspots. Wow. There's a lot of these places that could really accommodate a lot of people. And there's been a little bit of footage that has come out from what goes on inside. Australian women in quarantine harassed by cops for not wearing masks while drinking tea. So this was documented in a TikTok video, how this woman came out on her porch and she was waiting to be fed and was drinking tea, and the cops promptly showed up to tell her to put her mask back up.
Or just wait patiently to be fed. It's like when you shake the bag of dog treats and the dogs come running. We're all just outside waiting. just had the cops come around and tell this woman off staying over here as well. Because there was about 5 seconds in between her taking a sip of her cup of tea and she took her face mask down. The cops came around literally on the dot and just pulled her up for it, and she said, well, I'm drinking my tea, and they said, well, not right now, you don't put your face mask on. It's a bit intense.
There was also some footage from inside where a guy who had been in there for 2 weeks, it was supposed to be let out because he had finished his quarantine, was basically losing it. He said, you know, he felt like the walls were closing in and he was freaking out. He was demanding to be released because he was supposed to be released. And the officer was not releasing him and was telling him to just get back in his room, and even threatened, get back in your room or calm down or you're going to get gassed.
For me, because he's stayed here for 14 days.
Mate, you gotta calm down or you're gonna
take me somewhere fucking else.
calm down or you're gonna get fucking gassed.
Fucking do it then.
Alright, get back.
It's not gonna fucking change the fact that I'm fucking pissed off.
Stay there.
I don't even have a fucking crossword to fucking fill in.
He's saying he doesn't even have a crossword to...
Yeah, he said there's no fucking embarrassed.
Oh, yeah, nasty. What we need you to do is get back in the room.
If you weren't fucking listening, it's fucking long.
Stay there. Where's your card?
I feel for these guys. This is shit. This is hotel quarantine.
A lot of people got really freaked out by that, thinking it means, you know, gas to death. But I think what he meant was like tear gassed.
I'm fucking pissed off.
Stay there.
I don't even have a fucking crossword to fucking fill in.
He's saying he doesn't even have a crossword to...
If he thought he was going to get gassed to death, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be worried about not having a crossword. But clearly the accommodations there, it has very much like a prison kind of feel to it. And, you know, as they're talking about moving into the New World Order and how things are going to be reopening and how you will have to be vaccinated if you want to participate, and the contact tracing, what are they going to put all these people who are contact traced, who are unvaccinated, are they going to go into these kind of places? When they're not allowed to participate in the economy and they have no way of earning a living or doing anything, are they eventually going to be relocated? I mean, these are questions that people are asking. How far is this going to go? How can you have people living in your society that are not allowed to participate in the economy? What are they supposed to do? You know, set up some tents on the outskirts of the city and grow some carrots? It's scary. It looks like very dangerous territory that Australia is going into. And I think the reason they're just keeping everyone locked down and then saying, no, we're not going to reopen anything, it's only to the vaccinated, is because they've seen how it's gone in other countries where they reopen and then they try to convince and then bribe and reward and then coerce and then threaten and shame the people who don't go along with taking the vaccine. And it's very difficult, and you end up with a situation where it's been 6 months since your vaccine rollout, only 50% have taken it. By that time, that's sort of wearing off. That vaccine is starting to wear off. You're getting people needing boosters again, and then you've got the other group that never took it, so it's disorganized, and you have more and more people resisting against it being mandatory or having these vaccination passports. So I think that Australia took the approach like, you know, it's easier if we just keep the bees in the jar and then let them out one at a time instead of letting them all out and then trying to get them all back in. Obviously, their government has absolutely seized an enormous amount of power. They've turned everything into a privilege. It's like some people have said, Australia's gone back to being a prison colony. That's not to say that Australians have just obediently gone along with everything. There have been some large protests that even got violent. And they're expecting there to be more protests, even shutting the public transport system down to thwart them. Not everyone is exactly thrilled about the New World Order. There was a case also where people just said, you know, screw it, and they all just ran out and went to the beach. What are you going to do? Well, when it's one or two people, like those kids who got caught on the beach, and you can have the cops swoop in and arrest them. But what are you going to do when you have 500 people that left the house? What are you going to do? Send in the riot squad? What are you going to do? Shoot them? It's probably going to backfire if you do. So anyway, keeping an eye out on Australia, and I hope you found that interesting. So thanks for subscribing, and thank you again for your support on Patreon, which I really need because I may lose my, day job income, as well as the fact that I basically don't earn any money online at this point. So thank you for your support. It keeps my channel going, and it helps me provide for my family. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.
Truth.